the Orach Chaim HaKodesh. The Orach Chaim HaKodesh points out in the first posuk in Ki Seitzei. I mean, Rashi, which is Chazal, tell us that the war that we're speaking about is not an obligatory war. It's Milchemes Reshus. It's for land acquisition, for economic reasons. However, he points out it's Ki Seitzei, you should say Limulchama. What's La? The Patach always indicates this is the ultimate. It's this is the war. When you're going out to the war. See, as a result of this, he interprets it based on his illusionary level that it's not speaking about a physical war. We're speaking of two things. We're speaking about a physical war, but we're also speaking about the Milchemes HaYetzer. That the greatest war, conflict the person has, confrontation the person has in his life, it's contending with his evil inclination. So that is the war. And he goes and he interprets everything, which I spoke about on the CD yesterday, if you listen to it. Okay? Ve'veisel toch beisecho. We're holding pasuk Yud Beis. Yud Aleph in Rashi. Lokachto chol isha, we have Rashi. You see this woman in captivity, you're attracted to her, you desire her. However, the Torah only allows, if your interest is, only to marry her. Lokachto l'chol isha, lo dibra Torah l'keneg yitzara. It's Gemara in Kedushin. The Torah is speaking regarding one's evil inclination. Shem eina kodesh baruch hu ma'atiro. If Hashem would not permit it, Yisena b'Yisr. He's going to marry this woman regardless. Meaning, in a state of war, the desire is so overwhelming, unless Hashem allows you to marry her, you're going to be involved with her in either case. Avalim noso, but the Torah is telling in advance, but if you do marry a sofa liosona, ultimately you're going to despise her, you're going to detest her. Shenemar achrav kisienu leish, v'sofa holding men ben soramora, and ultimately the child who's going to be the rebellious child is going to be born from this union. Parshas halolu. Therefore, the Torah juxtaposes the parsha, the portion of the ben soramora, to this portion. So it's interesting. Meaning, as much, there's a famous word from the Beis HaLevi. One of the Aseres HaDibros is lo sachmod. You shouldn't have designs on another person's, his wife, his property, his animal, whatever it may be. Anything other than that, person, you're able to control yourself. But chemda, something that you desire because you would like to have what he has, how do you control that? It's similar to what the Rambam asks. There's a mitzvah avos Hashem. Either you love or you don't love. But yet there's a mitzvah. You must love Hashem. You must revere Hashem. It's not an act or doing. It's a feeling. It's an emotion. If one doesn't have that emotion, so how does the Torah obligate you in something where it's dependent on either it's yes or no? Observing Shabbos, giving tzedakah, whatever it may be, eating the Korban Pesach. It's a perfunctory act. But here, avo is either you love or you don't love. So the Rambam answers it. But what about lo sachvod? You have chemda. You should be samech b'chelkocha. Right? Be satisfied with your lot, but still, what does the person do? He's not there yet. So how does a person control it? So he explains that if a person has an uncontrollable desire for something, and it's something on the other side of the lake or river, and the river is frozen over, and he starts crossing the river, and he feels it's something, he's being drawn into this, he's out of control. And the moment he comes to halfway across the river, he feels the ice starts cracking under his feet. At that moment, understanding the cost factor, that his life's at stake, whatever interest he had immediately ceases to be, loses desire immediately, because he understands the consequence. His life is the ultimate, and he's dealing with reality. So if a person, so the Beis HaLevi says, if a person would understand the negativity and the ramifications, the negative ramifications of having designs on someone else's, whatever it may be, therefore the person will lose all interest in whatever that may be. That's the Beis HaLevi. Torah says, Lo divrei keneged yitzhara. Torah is speaking about one's evil inclination. If the Torah would not permit it, what would be? If he would marry, he would be involved with in either case. So what does the Torah tell you? But the Torah juxtaposes two things immediately afterwards. Ultimately, you're going to hate her. You're going to despise her. In addition, the child that you can have from her, is going to be a ben Sora Mora. Therefore, what? So what should he do? He shouldn't marry. You just said it's something which is not controllable. If Torah wouldn't permit, he's going to marry. He's going to be involved in either case. So what exactly is Torah saying? I think that's what the Torah is saying. By juxtaposing the issue of disliking her and the child, that automatically gives the person an understanding what the cost factor is. Once the person starts appreciating the cost factor, in reality, it says in Pirkei Avos, when you evaluate a mitzvah, it's keneged hefsedo, keneged schoro. Is it worth it? The avera. That's what we're talking about olam haba. This is fact. This hard fact. Factually, there is a track record. You marry this kind of woman, it's not going to last. You marry this kind of woman, you have a child, it's that kind of child. This fact. Presenting with such blatant fact, the person says, it diffuses his whole desire, the person steps away from it. So no, the Gemara says, the Gemara asks the question. David Melech Avshalom was from Eshes Vastor. So the Gemara says in Sanhedrin that David, he didn't darshan smuchin in Sefer Dvorim. His Kabbalah was what he thought that when the Torah juxtaposed, that is only in the first four Chamoshim. In Mishnah Torah, you don't. So there, as a result, he made a mistake. But if he would have known that you darshan smuchim, even in Mishnah Torah, he wouldn't have married her. And the whole story with Avshalom would have never come about. That's the Gemara. The Gemara says that.
So the Torah thought it's better, I guess, to make it legitimate even though the consequences, rather than saying, okay, you're going to do it anyway, so do it and then after the war forget about it.
No, you're not permitted. You're not permitted to engage with her unless the intent is ultimately to marry her. So this will cause the person not to get involved. Okay. Ve'veisel toch beisecho. Ve'gilches rosha. See, the intent is to marry her, but the Torah wants to discourage it. Torah wants to discourage it. You bring her into your house, you shave her head, ve'gilches rosha ve'oset tzipor nail. You cut her nails. That she should be unattractive. You don't want it. Torah doesn't want to be attractive. Rashi says there's an argument. What does it mean? Does it mean she should cut her nails, or she should let them grow long, that she should become detestable to him? She removes the garment of captivity from her. And she sits in your house, and she cries for her father and mother for a month. So over here is interesting Balaturim. What does it say? Chodesh Yomim? No. You missed the question. You didn't hear the question. In Hebrew, Chodesh means a month, and Yerach means a month. Why is a month called Yerach? Because it's Yoreach. The moon is called Yoreach, right? So the Baal Turim addresses, why does the Torah say she will cry for Fatima Yerach Yomim? The Yoreach. Say Chodesh Yomim. Every Torah refers to a month. It's a Chodesh, right? It's also the word Chodesh comes from the word Chodosh, right? The month renews itself, right? So why does Torah use the term Yerach rather than Chodesh? We'll see in a minute. Then you will come upon her, and you'll cohabit with her. She'll be your wife. Now, it's interesting over here. What is this garment of captivity? Lefi Shem Noim. We're speaking about its garments, which are attractive garments. They're seductive garments. Shagoyim b'noseim skashtas b'mchama. By the Gentiles, the women, they beautify themselves when it comes to war. Why? Bishvil lahaznos acher mimoim. to seduce people, to bring them to engage in sexual relationships with the people. That's their interest. So you remove this garment. So because this garment is an attractive garment, it causes her to look attractive. So I mean, over here the Simcham says that normally when you travel, what kind of garments do you wear? Right? Person travels to Israel, he goes sometimes. Before he gets off the plane, he puts on a suit. He's wearing jeans on the plane, and that's traveling clothing. So when a person travels in certain settings, you don't wear attractive clothing. So he says, when you travel, they get creased, become dirty, soiled. So the question is, so why should she remove it? We're coming from the front, there's the battlefield, right? She's coming back from the front. A Jew, that's the way a Jew behaves. But the Goyim, because the women are interested in seducing the men, therefore they wear garments despite the fact that they may become soiled. And she will sit in your house. It's a house or room, a location, which you frequent. Nichnas v'niskal bo. He enters and he stumbles over her. Meaning he continuously sees her in this unbecoming state. Yotze v'niskal bo. And he leaves also. Roy b'b'chiyoso. Roy b'nivlo. He sees her crying, grieving. He sees her b'nivlo in this unbecoming state. Okay, she's gone all over. Okay, that's good. So far, so good. Now, v'vochses ovio. Now, this Rashi is always difficult. She will cry for her father and mother. Kol kach lama, why? Kedei shtei bas Yisrael smecho v'zu atzevo. That the bas Yisrael should be in a joyous state, and she should be in a melancholy state. Bas Yisrael miskashetes, zu misnavelis. And the Jewish woman should be adorned, and she should be in this decrepit state, mistavelis, in this unattractive state. What is that? I mean, everything's relative. You make her look so bad, so you make the Jewish woman look good. I mean, is that what the Torah is saying? That's what the Torah wants. Or the Bas Yisrael should be simcha, she should be atzeva. And we're trying that he should lose interest in her, right? So what does it do with the Bas Yisrael? She's smecha. No, it says Ketei Bas Yisrael smecha. She's crying, so the Bas Yisrael should be smecha. There's the Mishnah in Tainus. Now it says, Lo Yom Tov L'Yisrael Ketu B'Av. So what's Tu B'Av? Somewhere says Tu B'Av and Yom Kippurim. Somewhere says in Tainus, Yom Kippurim, it's Yom Slichum Mechila. Okay, it's a day of forgiveness, day of atonement. But what's Tu B'Av? Somewhere it says because the women, they would go out with the unmarried men, and so what would the rich woman, so the rich girls say? What would the beautiful girls say? What would the ones who had no money and didn't have, and what would the ones who had yichus, had pedigree, what would they say? Right? So the question is, you have to appreciate what you have. So by the Gentile not being available to the Jew, so the Bas Yisrael smecha. She's not smecha because the what's name is grieving. Because the non-Jew is in an unattractive state, therefore the Jewish woman will be available to the Jew, that he should see what he has. You understand? That she's smecha because now the Jew losing interest in the Gentile now will focus on the Jewish woman. So she's smecha, similar to the Tubav. So here he says, what's Yerach Yomim? Why does he use the word Yerach rather than Chodesh? So he says, Yerachim v'lo chodesh lo malach mai hayoreach oro pogum keneged or hashemish. Just as the light of the moon pales compared to the light of the sun, Avgoya Mu'usa Hikeneged Bas Yisrael. If you really understand the difference between the non-Jew and the Jew, she's Mu'usa. She's detestable compared to the Jewish woman. It's like, Havdil, Elif Avdolos, who was it? Edward. He could have been king of England. He abdicated the throne to marry a commoner. He was willing to give it all up for whoever he married, whatever it was. Abdicate the throne. You know what it means? Royalty. He's willing to give up all royalty. That's exactly what we're talking about. Yoreach. As beautiful as the moon, you can have a full moon, but it still doesn't compare what the sun is, to the light of the sun. So the Goya, compared to the Jewish woman, in every sense of the word, doesn't compare. My father-in-law, Oliver Shalom, used to say, it's his yahrzeit today, my father-in-law, Amadav Shem Omro, used to say, when she's young, she's called a shiksa. When she's old, she's called a Goya, an alta Goya. That's what happens. That's what he used to say. To be continued. Let's see that morale. What?